Ho 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 guys, Merry Christmas. It's only July, I know that, but it's Christmas in July, and I therefore felt like it was time for me to do a Christmas planning video for 2020. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I usually every year do a Christmas planning type series, and I've varied what I've done and what I've talked about and when I've done it and stuff. And yeah, I love Christmas and I love Christmas planning. I see Christmas as more than just one day. I see Christmas from about, depends on when I can get away with it, but I tend to see Christmas as definitely the whole month of December and sometimes a little bit into November as well. I like to celebrate Christmas as being a season, like a season all of its own rather than a day, because for me the whole the build up of Christmas, the anticipation and all the activities and things around Christmas, for me they are more exciting than Christmas Day. I actually find sometimes Christmas Day a little bit of an anticlimax, if I'm honest. I enjoy all the kind of build up and things. I used to love Christmas Day when I was a child, but that's because like my mum used to make it magical. And don't get me wrong, I love Christmas Day with my children, but I like all the lead up to it and preparation and all that as well. So because I feel like Christmas is a whole season, and you know, Christmas sort of starts kind of early on. I like to get a plan on things, get a hold on things, like, and know what I'm doing and stuff earlier on in the year. I also, because we like to do different activities and things like that, and we usually go on holiday, usually that's requires money. Well, usually, obviously, always it requires money, and you know, John and I, we're just normal working people, and Christmas is something that we have to save for. We have to budget for Christmas. And so, you know, particularly because we go on holiday and we like do like other activities and things. So I like to kind of, we kind of sort out early on in the year what we're going to do and make sure we save money for it and put money aside for it as well. So that's why I start planning early, and it's pretty scary really, because we're in July, and when you think about it, so it's middle of July, you've got July payday, August payday, September payday, October payday, and November payday. Really, that's 5 paydays before Christmas. And when you think of it like that, you kind of think that Christmas is like really far away still. Well, some people do, I don't. But when you think like 5 paydays, that's kind of, you know, like wow. And like we certainly wouldn't be able to afford to do all of Christmas things in like the November and possibly the December payday. That just wouldn't work for us. So yeah, we do it throughout the year, and as I've mentioned in previous videos, I also use park savings. And I buy the MasterCard, like the prepaid MasterCard that you can use anywhere. And the reason I do that is because I can't access it, because if it was in my bank, like if I had a separate bank account for saving, I would just spend it. And if times got tough, like I would just head to that money and spend that money. But when you've got children, Christmas has to happen, whether you like it or not. So usually what I do is I save the park savings money. I save that for buying a Christmas tree, because we always buy a real Christmas tree every year. So I save it for that, and I save it for food, because we buy more food at Christmas time. I really enjoy buying more food. I mean, look at me, of course I enjoy buying more food. I enjoy buying more food, and to be fair, it does last us, like, you know, like boxes of crackers and things. It does last us into January, but I do enjoy doing it, and I enjoy sort of splurging a bit. But it's okay, because I know the money's there, I've saved for it. And any other things, like I often buy an ornament each year, and then, like, as I said, like any activities, or it goes towards presents and things like that. So there's that. But I also like to do stuff throughout the year to spread the cost. Particularly now we have 2 children. So yeah, it's kind of doing that. And when you have a new child, I think there's like like there's startup costs. Like I think of it as startup costs. Probably a weird thing to say, but for me it's startup costs. So I'm going to say this quieter because I don't know. I think they're in the garden, but startup costs for our new child would be a advent calendar. We use wooden. We have a wood, like my Spud has a wooden advent calendar that Joanna Jingle Bells, our elf, puts a chocolate in every day. So we're gonna get the new edition, her own wooden advent calendar. So that's a cost. Like that's a cost in the first year. That's a startup cost, but it isn't a cost that we would have every year. A stocking, a Christmas stocking. We need to buy one of those. And also a sack and Christmas Eve box. So yeah, those are all kind of like the startup costs. So that's gonna like, so the first year is like more expensive than recurring years. Yes, so you know, like Spudley for example, she's, you know, still using what we bought 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Yes, she is still using that stuff, but it is like an initial startup cost. So yes, so got to factor that in this year. So normally normally we don't have a year where we have a pandemic, and we don't have a year where there's a lockdown, and we don't have a year where your husband's been part furloughed, and stuff like that. So this year is kind of a bit exceptional as well. So it's kind of like working with that as well. So, and there's a lot of uncertainty. There is a lot of uncertainty in the world, as well as with us, you know, like those scary adult things that like we think John's job's going to be fine, although he's part furloughed, we think it's going to be fine, but you just don't know. So there's like, you know, you just got, and as I said, like when you've got kids, Christmas has got to happen because I don't want to ruin their like childhood memories. You know, they don't have to have tons and tons and tons of stuff, but they do have to have those happy memories. And John and I are very much about experiences and memories rather than stuff. Sometimes stuff does come along with those memories, but for us we are like more about the memory making, and that kind of thing. Yeah, and so normally we're not in a lockdown, and we would, by now, mid-July, we would have probably been away in our camper van on lots of adventures, either for day trips places, or we probably would have been away on a week's holiday by now, maybe 2, just off in our van. And when we're away in the van or out and about for day trips, you often come across like a National Trust shop, or, you know, like if you've gone out for the day, or you go to the beach and there'll be some like nice little independent shops or boutique shops, that kind of thing. And so normally throughout the year, if I see something in a shop that I think, oh, that'd be really nice as a Christmas present, or so-and-so will like that, I buy it when I see it, because, and this is just my opinion, you may disagree, but I personally get very disappointed with shops at Christmas, because I find that some of the good stuff gets put away. And I've said this before in videos, so if you've watched my Christmas planning videos before, I am repeating myself, but you may be new. But I find that they sometimes put away like the good stuff and bring out a bit of tat. Sorry, I said it. Like gift sets. Like gift sets look nice, but I sometimes feel that it's all about the packaging and how they're looked, and there's always 1 or 2 items in the gift set that you don't want or don't use. There's always a bit of a wild card in there. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I do love a gift set. Like I will go into Boots sometimes and I'll be like, ooh, I like that gift set because I like the wash bag in it. And sometimes you can't always buy like the wash bag or the purse or whatever it is. You can't always buy that on its own, so you have to buy the gift set. So there is merit in gift sets, don't get me wrong, there is merit in gift sets. But like, for example, John, my husband, he doesn't play rugby, he doesn't play golf, he doesn't fish, he doesn't play football. And come Christmas time, they bring out loads and loads of gifts with those kind of icons on them. And so they're kind of useless to me. John is into gardening, John's into hiking, John's into camping, he's into surfing. But you don't tend to find like products in high street stores with those kind of things on. It's getting better because more and more like hiking shops are coming to towns and things. Like we've got a mountain warehouse in our town now, which is good. So normally I would buy things throughout the year when we're out and about, when I see them, because sometimes, like particularly for John, I find it hard to buy for him around Christmas time. And I also buy throughout the year. For example, this year I have bought I've started my Christmas shopping already. This is my primary reason for doing this video, was to say I've started my Christmas shopping. So normally, as I said, I would buy things throughout the year. But because I haven't been anywhere, we've been on lockdown, as most people have. We literally haven't been anywhere. The furthest we've been is for walks around our village and the fields that are around our village, and we have been to our allotment, and that is pretty much it. We've had a few trips backwards and forwards to the doctors or like the pharmacy, and we haven't even been out for grocery shopping because I have been so, oh my gosh, I have been so incredibly lucky that I have been a long-standing customer of Ocado for years, and so I was really lucky that I was able to get delivery slots. There was like 1 week that I couldn't get a delivery slot, like right at the start of the pandemic, but I've had my food delivered throughout this entire time. I can tell you, oh my gosh, I feel so happy about that because, yeah, this isn't a video about the lockdown and the pandemic, but just know that I am so incredibly grateful that I've had my shopping delivered every week. So yeah, I literally have not been out of the house, and so I was like, I really need to get a start on some bits because I need to spread the cost. I need to get good stuff before all the like the junky things, the gift sets come in, and also price. So I have been looking, like I also, sorry, I will get there. I also kind of see, for me, Christmas shopping and browsing as like a hobby, as like a pastime. There's nothing I love more than after a stressful day of parenting and juggling everything during a pandemic, where you're all stressed and anxious about the whole entire world. There's nothing I enjoy more than cracking open a Diet Coke, getting some cheese and crackers, because I have slightly fallen off of the vegan wagon. Still pretty much vegan apart from cheese. I couldn't buy vegan cheese one week. So I bought real cheese, and yeah, now I'm addicted again. So I need to kick that in the curb. But yeah, there's nothing I enjoy more than sitting down with a Diet Coke, some cheese and crackers, and my phone, and perusing Amazon. Or I follow on Facebook, Everyone Loves Christmas. Or there's Etsy. I actually really enjoy just perusing and looking and compiling lists of ideas. That is a hobby for me. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Some of you may be thinking you are incredibly sad and you need to get a life. That's fine. That's your opinion. The other half of you, maybe, depending on your maths, where you belong, the rest of you, or some of you, whoever, may be thinking, oh, yes, Anna, I'm so with you on that. I'll have a G&T, or I'll pop open a glass of wine, or I'll have a coffee. And yes, I enjoy sitting down and compiling lists and perusing as well. If that's you, welcome to the gang. So the other months, like my daughter is obsessed with Frozen, as I guess a lot of kids are. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good film, but once you've seen it like a gajillion, million, bazillion times, you know. So we have got a record player downstairs in the front room, and my little Spudsy Boo, she really enjoys selecting one of mine or John's records and playing it. So for her birthday, we bought her the Frozen vinyl. She has never been so happy to have her own record. Us as parents, however, after the first probably 1,000 times it had been played, we were like, what were we thinking? Anyway, I love a good Frozen soundtrack as much as anyone, but when you've heard it so many times. Anyway, so she's got Frozen 1, the DVD, and Frozen 1, the soundtrack on vinyl. And so we thought it'd be really nice for Christmas, because we kind of missed the birthday really. Didn't even think of buying the second film for the birthday. Don't know why. We thought, yeah, for Christmas we'll buy her the second film and the second vinyl. And so I went on Amazon and I added it to her list. And at the time it was £25. And then the other night I was browsing through Amazon and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna have a look, you know, what's in her list. And you know, because her tastes change, and so I'll get rid of something that I don't think would be appropriate anymore. Wish list this is, because I keep, as I said, I keep wish lists of ideas. And I happened to see it got a price drop, and it had dropped down to £8. And I was like, that is too good not to get, because come towards Christmas again, that might hike back up to £25. And also, while I was there, she's really into Deadly 60, loves watching Deadly 60 with good old Steve Braxall. The Deadly 60 book had also dropped from like whatever it was to like over half price. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get that. So I got them, and I sort of started my foray into Christmas shopping. But starting early means you can take advantage of the prices that are, you know, up and down. I find that prices do tend to go up a bit before Christmas, but then equally some people have sales, and yeah, so it's quite nice to kind of, it's quite good to like watch and just keep an eye and that. So yeah, started it. But I'm also conscious of like, this is what this is for, to keep a list as well of purchases, so that they don't run away with us or with me, because I do all the purchasing really for the kids. So they don't run away. I write lists of what I've purchased, where from, how much, for a couple of reasons. One, so that I can keep track of my purchases. You know, like sometimes things don't come and you need to follow up on where they are, etc. So I do that. I also keep a list on so that I know what I've already bought, so that I don't go over the top or buy a second one of it or something like that. And also for budget, so I can keep a check on, you know, how much I'm spending and everything. And lastly, as a memory record as well, because I think it's quite nice to like look back on and think like, oh, what did she get for Christmas last year, blah 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 blah, because I can only remember a handful of Christmases. Like, I remember memories of things that we did recurring. Like, I always remember the carols under the Christmas tree with mince pies, and I always remember going to midnight mass with my nan and my mum, and things like that. But I can only remember a few Christmas presents. I remember the time we played Twister with my grandma. Things like that, you know. I remember those experiences, but I can't really remember the presents. There's very few. I remember the year I got a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle skateboard. I remember the year I got Garfield roller skates. I remember I got was it Baby Talk? And I remember the year that I had nothing but Winnie the Pooh presents. I remember those. Don't really remember like many Christmases and the presents I got. So writing them down, I think, is quite a nice idea. Things are a bit different now from, you know, I'm going to be 40 next year. I know, I don't look it. I know what you're thinking. I know. So I'm going to be 40 next year. Things have moved on a lot in all those times. When I was a kid, we did take photos, but photos weren't such a big deal, because you had to go and buy the film, and then you had to load the film and hope that the film worked, and then you had to go and get the film developed and hope that that worked and stuff, and it was expensive, and so people didn't take photos of like all the things like we do now, whereas now we can like take photos of all the presents our kids got or something. There's a few photos of like presents, or like me opening my main present or something, but not everything. So yeah, I think it's quite a nice record to have of the presents that my kids got, so they can like look back on those in years to come. So I've printed out my inserts like I do every year, and I've also created a couple new inserts. And as always with my videos, you do have to go back through and find my planning videos, but in the planning videos, in the description of the video, there will be a link where you can go and download these inserts for free. And there's no exception with this video. Click open up the description box. If you like the inserts I show you, go and get them. They're free. Just download them, print them off as many times as you like. You just can't sell them, but you can yours for free. So this is the one that I always print out, but I am thinking of modifying it. So yeah, by the time you get yours, it'll be modified. So so it's Christmas present log. So I just write down who it's for, the year, because sometimes like it carries on, because it depends on who I'm buying for and how much, you know. Like for example, the kids would get more than what I would buy for John, you know, so that's just why there's like more spaces. Present wanted or present purchased, where to buy and the cost, purchased, wrapped and given. Now there is a column there that I actually want to put in, and that is received. So it is quite obvious when you look down it and you can be like, yeah, I've already got that. But I feel like a tick list column of received would be useful. So I'm probably going to amend these to do that. So I've printed off one each of those for my girls. I haven't done one for John yet. I've also so I've separated it down. This would be like main presents, and of course there's presents from me and John as the parents, and then presents from Father Christmas. That's how it happens in our house. I know people do things differently, but that's just how we do it in our house, like, you know. And we give our presents on Christmas Eve. We will give our presents to Spud and Wolf Cub, and we will be like, here you go, here's a present from Mummy and Daddy, we love you, here's our present, isn't it great? And then they will put it under the tree, and they will go to bed knowing that there's a present under the tree from them. And then when they wake up in the morning, Father Christmas will have been, and all the magic will be there, and they couldn't possibly think it's Mummy and Daddy, because Mummy and Daddy have already given them a present. So the next list that I printed out is one for stocking stuffers. So this is like the main presents, like the under the tree presents, but we always have stockings. Did in my family, did in John's family. There's nothing like waking up Christmas morning, seeing the stocking at the end of the bed, grabbing it and running into Mummy and Daddy's bed and opening it all together, and at 5 o'clock in the morning eating chocolate out of your stocking. The Christmas memories, I love it. Just wish I could have some smell-o-vision now and do some peppermint or some cinnamon for you guys. So yeah, I printed out a stocking stuffer sheet as well. So this is new. I designed this new so that I could split them down. So I've just got like stocking stuffers, name, item, price, purchased, received. Now I thought I'd be like all smarty. So as you can see, I haven't bought any main, well, I've bought one main present, but it's not on here yet. The frozen vinyl. So I thought I'd start buying the stocking stuffers. You know, just make a start, ease yourself into it. Don't buy anything big and main yet, because, you know, children change. One tip I have, if you're an early present buyer, that's great, but always save your budget, a bit of your budget, for when or just after they write their letters to Father Christmas, because there'll always be a little bit of a curveball in there that you weren't expecting. So yeah, always try and save a bit of money for that, you know, that thing that they surprise on you when they've written their letter. So yeah, I started buying some little bits for stocking. I'm now abandoning that. I am no longer buying stocking fillers on the internet, because I bought a few things that I thought would be suitable. They looked of a size of which you could put in a stocking, and the price of them I would have thought be like, would go in with that, like they were cheap. cheap or like good price. And then when they would come, they're massive. They're massive. So I was like, right, okay, yeah, that's not suitable. And then no doubt I'll probably buy something that I think is going to be big and it's going to be small. But there we go. So yeah, so I've abandoned buying any more stocking stuffer things, and I'm hoping that as we get closer to Christmas, lockdown restrictions will have eased even more. I know we can go shopping now, I know we can, but as our personal preference in our family, we have chosen not to do any recreational shopping. We've decided that for us, we don't want to risk going clothes shopping or whatever shopping, because we don't need to unless we need to. Like when the kids had a growth spurt and summer clothes, I went on Next online and bought some clothes online, just because we decided that we didn't want to put ourselves at risk by going to the shops for recreational purposes. Like, we didn't need anything, so why would we go? But I'm hoping that things will be better in the autumn and into November and December, and I'll be able to start going out a bit more and stuff. So yeah, we'll see. We'll suck it and see, as they say. But I do get my shopping delivered from Ocado, and there is Amazon, and I know you can buy things like stickers. I'm just trying to be mindful, because I'm trying to have things that are more meaningful, that are more eco, less waste, less plastic, that kind of thing. So that's in my head as well. So yeah, so I'm probably going to just try and hold off now on stocking stuffers and get them nearer the time, because I don't want to make the same boo-boo as I've done already by buying stuff that is way too big. So I've also printed off a list for elf arrival, and this has got elf arrival / start of Advent, the kid's name, item, purchase, received, blah blah blah. Because in our house we have a tradition that Elf comes along, Joanna Jingle Bells, and when so on the night before, though, the 30th of November, that's when we write our letters to Father Christmas. And then overnight, Joanna Jingle Bells comes, our elf on the shelf. She sends our Christmas letters off to Father Christmas, and she brings with her, she always brings a new ornament for the Christmas tree. This is something that I always had when I was a child as well, which is how I built up my collection of ornaments on my Christmas tree. And that's something that I'm doing with the girls as well. They've got a box that every year they get an ornament for their tree, and it goes in their box. Well, their box. So the elf brings an ornament for the tree. She brings chocolates for the tree, because in England we have little chocolates that we hang on our tree. She always brings either a pair of Christmas pajamas or a Christmas jumper, or sometimes both, depending on what's been made at the North Pole and what the budget of the North Pole is. So yeah, so she always brings those, and obviously the chocolates for the Advent calendar. And sometimes as well, she surprises us. She gives us like daily surprises. So on my list, I've got daily chocolates for the Advent calendar, a daily surprise, have I got any surprises, and I do have a separate sheet of Advent surprises. Tree chocolates, an ornament, jumper or PJs. And this year, I thought I'd surprise the girls. I've bought Elf on the Shelf letters. And they can share that between them. They look amazing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it. Elf on the Shelf letters. They look so cool. So yeah, that's the start of Advent. And then lastly, very last one is this one, Christmas Eve box, and it's the same stuff. So every year on Christmas Eve, Joanna Jingle Bells last like, woo, wow, aren't I amazing? She always brings a Christmas Eve box, which is a tradition I know that a lot of people have adopted now. Didn't exist when I was a kid, and I wish it had. And in the Christmas Eve box, there is always a pair of pyjamas, a movie, a DVD, a book to read, and an edible treat / treats. Like there'll be there'll be like either a hot chocolate making kit and some popcorn, that kind of thing. So that's why I put edible treat. And then some years there's been like a Christmas bath bomb, that kind of thing, or like Christmas bubble bath, that kind of thing. So yeah, I've done a list so that I can, for each child, so that I can mark off what I need when I've bought it. So yes, over half an hour of me talking passionately about Christmas. So that's where I'm at. Some people think I'm absolutely balmy for various reasons, not just for this, but that's okay. I enjoy it, and it just helps me to budget and to look at things and, you know, work out what we're going to do. So yeah, welcome to Christmas planning in 2020. I don't know how many videos I'm going to do this year on planning. I don't know what content there'll be. I've already done quite a lot of Christmas planning content on this channel, so I don't always know like what extra I can give to it, but if there's something that I feel like I want to share with Christmas planning, then I will. But if there's anything you want to see or know, please feel free to leave a comment and make a suggestion or ask a question. If there's any questions you've got about Christmas planning, pop them below. Any suggestions, pop them below. Yeah. So yeah, not sure when I'll do another Christmas planning video, if I will, but you know, much love to you, and I will do other videos on my channel anyway. So yeah, and I'm going to stop doing this now because that's probably really annoying. Bye guys.